Okay, so I just heard myself, so I think I'm good to go. Um, First of all, I would like to thank all of the hosts and sponsors for arranging this intriguing event. Um, so we were asked to speak on a series of questions for 10 minutes. The first question I was asked is, how do you explain the success of K-content in the US? Obviously, I'm speaking from the perspective of being a K-pop scholar, and I've talked about this before. There's actually very many different reasons, but the three most important reasons. First, audiences are always looking for something new, and K-pop is still being introduced to new audiences. It definitely benefits from being familiar enough sonically to not challenge listeners too much, but new enough at the same time. And it has these really high second, just like K-pop adapted to the benefits of YouTube faster than other music industries, we can clearly see that K-pop is well prepared to attract people who are consuming music, not through their ears and high-quality audio systems, but with their eyes. The ocular-centric nature of K-pop is partially built on the fact that artists can't only sing. They also have to dance, appear in television programs, and charm fans online through various platforms. K-pop is also perfect for the TikTok generation, as it can be extracted into what Jin Dalion calls snack content. 15-second dance challenges, for example, from K-pop stars engage fans, and K-pop lends itself perfectly to memification. Korean may not be everyone's language around the world, but through adept use of visual content, K-pop communicates well. Third, importantly, K-pop is intentionally, densely intertextual and extremely immersive, with idols building entire universes and inviting fans to step inside and explore them together. I've published on precisely this before, and if you'd like to email me, I would be happy to send you my article. So the next question is, what are you paying close attention to these days? So I'm going to talk about three significant shifts or trends in K-pop that I believe are very significant. The first and most significant one is that we have an aging of both artists and fans. The audience for K-pop has changed. So traditionally, we think of it as being a music industry aimed at tweens and teens. In the early days, idol pop groups, they rarely lasted 5 or 7 years. But now, even though we still have young groups, of an appropriate age for teens and tweens debuting, we also have many older artists who are not leaving the industry, and instead they continue to perform and release new content, but often on a more self-driven and relaxed schedule than in the past. We have stars with 20 or 30 years of experience who continue to have vibrant careers, performing well into their 30s, 40s, even 50s. And older fans who may have once hid their ongoing fandom are openly and actively supporting their favorites. This changes the economy of K-pop. For example, increased ticket prices are financially less burdensome for older fans who may request a Friday off from work and fly to another city or another country just to see an artist perform. And older fans have deeper pocketbooks, which has a huge impact on the advertising framework, because older fans can afford something more than cosmetics, fried chicken, and cell phones. But at the same time, it also creates a challenge for the industry that needs to reintroduce idols to audiences. In the past, idols created a fan base and just maintained those fans throughout their career. But now it's really urgent to find creative ways to introduce older and established artists to diverse audiences around the world. And this is often happening through diverse platforms. Groups like Super Junior have handled this very well by focusing on demonstrating interest in Latin America through collaborations and tours and use of Spanish. A second big trend that I see right now is a shift towards debuting or establishing identities as solo stars. It wasn't that long ago that most K-pop agencies tried to confine a group to only producing music as a group. But today, artists are developing individual artistic expression and exploring new sounds, while their group is still going strong, pointing to what could be a gentle transition into solo artist status in the future. This is partially facilitated by the world of digital music, where it's more possible than ever before to record and release even a single track. Of course, K-pop has always been a cross-platform industry, with artists particularly active in both music and on entertainment television programs. Some of you know my interlocutor, Riley Marshall. We go to concerts together and alone, and we share important observations from those performances. After a recent TXT performance, I was struck by her description of the integration of webtoons and K-pop. And for those of you, unlike Dr. Park, who are less deeply involved in K-pop fandom, I decided to introduce this trend. So HYBE is kind of the industry leader in K-pop webtoons, which they have on the platform Line, which allows both English and Korean. Now, HYBE has made webtoons for BTS, TXT, and Hypen, Anteam, and LE SSERAFIM, some of which are still going right now. And reading these webtoons allows fans to have insight, to analyze, to more deeply connect to the music. So the fictional backstory of the group is shown in the webtoon and also appears in their music or on stage in the videos shown as artists are, changing their clothes backstage. Very excellent example of intertextuality. So to kind of sum up, the big changes I see are these extensions of K-pop, extension to older artists and fans, extension to artists who are both solo and in groups, and extension of the IP of K-pop into these new areas of cultural production. The next question is, what is the significance for K-pop of global platforms like Netflix involvement in K-content? So in February 2020, right before the pandemic, I went to a K-pop concert in Indianapolis. And as an ethnographer, I was asking people around me, like, how did you get interested in K-pop? Like, how do you know about this artist? And this older woman told me, oh, I watched this reality program featuring singer, so I started listening to his music. And so we really see how platforms like Netflix have started with dramas, but since the dramas are so popular, they're now also carrying Korean cooking shows or travel shows or comedy variety programs. And since K-pop idol stars frequently star in those programs, then we have this, way to introduce idols and their music to potential music fans through the television screen. Of course, there's also tour documentaries and short variety programs. A lot of those are appearing on Disney Plus these days. And then there's all of the television competition shows where young people vie to become members of an upcoming group or be acknowledged as the best dancer. So the last question is, what do you think is necessary for K-content to succeed in the future? And the first thing is the Korean government needs to take a step back and realize that their role in K-content is as a supporter and a cheerleader, but absolutely never as a producer. Something cringy like this video actually sends a very dangerous message for K-pop. It actually creates an second, we really have to be careful to preserve cultural uniqueness and, for lack of a better word, K-flavor. I'm a bit concerned about what I see right now as rampant pandering to the English-speaking market, with too many songs being in English. And if that goes too far, then we can actually see an eventual watering down of K-pop's charm. It will no longer be different. And third, Part of the problem here might be figuring out how to translate K content for foreign audiences without turning Korean things into Western things. This is an issue of linguistic and cultural translation, and I expect that Mr. Darcy Paquette will discuss that in a moment. Thank you.